Hey, let me tell you about something fascinating from the world of software engineering. Release engineering.
Release engineering. I have heard of releases in terms of elemental energy, but this sounds different. What is it about?
It's quite essential in the tech realm. Essentially, release engineering is all about building and delivering software efficiently. At Google, release engineers play a crucial role in making sure software is released in a way that's both reliable and methodical.
I see. So what exactly do these release engineers do?
They work closely with software engineers and site reliability engineers, or SREs. Together, they define every step of the software release process. This includes how software is stored, compiled, tested, packaged, and ultimately deployed.
It seems like a pretty comprehensive role. Why is it so important for services to have this reliable release process?
Imagine if a new build of software resulted in chaos every time it was released. A reliable release process ensures that changes don't cause unexpected issues, which is vital for keeping services up and running smoothly.
I can understand that. The stability of services must be prioritized over innovation if the latter causes disruption. But tell me, what is the collaborative dynamic like between these engineers and the SREs?
Great question. They work very closely in defining standards for releases so that any build can be replicated and not just be some unique or unpredictable piece of code. It's about making sure everything is practically foolproof, especially for SREs who handle the operations aspect.
Would you say this is more crucial for certain kinds of software, or does it apply universally?
It's quite universal. For any service that people rely on, a dependable release process is a cornerstone. Imagine a world where your email or search engine crashed every other day. Yikes!
That would indeed be troublesome for maintaining harmony in everyday life. What do release engineers have to be good at to excel in this role?
They need a deep understanding of source code management, compilers, build configurations, and tools like package managers and installers. It's a blend of many skills: development, testing, system administration, and even customer support aspects.
A rather multifaceted skill set then. How do they ensure that these processes are both reliable and repeatable?
They use a lot of tools and data metrics, ensuring that everything from code change to production is tracked, consistent, and repeatable. It's all about creating a reliable cycle that can easily adapt to changes without breaking everything.
That sounds logical, but doesn't such rigorous controls stifle creativity?
Not at all. It actually frees up engineers to be more innovative, since they can be confident the processes won't break. It's like having a safety net below a tightrope walker. More room to breathe and experiment.
I find the balance between creativity and control intriguing. So release engineers really shape the backbone of dependable tech services.
Exactly. They're like the unsung heroes in tech. Without them, the magic of constant updates and new features would quickly turn into a nightmare of broken software and frustrated users.
Such hidden yet pivotal roles fascinate me. It reminds me of strategic planning behind the scenes.
Absolutely, and just like with a well-structured military campaign, strategic planning in release engineering can avert a lot of potential chaos.
Given their importance, are release engineers a common fixture in tech companies, or is this unique to Google?
Well, most tech companies face similar challenges, whether they're Google-sized or not. Everyone needs some form of release engineering, though Google might have it refined to an art form.
An art form, huh? That's a delightful way to perceive engineering.
Yeah, and the best part? Some folks say that understanding the intricacies of release engineering can be as complex as deciphering poetry.
Poetry? Perhaps a language transcending both logic and aesthetics, where meticulous timing could even enhance its rhythm.
Indeed, just like poetry, when things are in harmony, there's a beauty to it, but when it goes wrong, total cacophony.
What happens if something does go wrong, though? How are unexpected problems managed?
That's where the collaboration with SREs shines. Together, they develop strategies to quickly address and roll back any troublesome updates without much fuss. They're all sharp and ready like a well-oiled machine.
Finally, do release engineers also play a part in the development of these strategies?
Absolutely, they're at the heart of the planning. Their role is as much about anticipating problems as solving them. They help devise plans to ensure any changes are smooth and reliable.
This collaborative interplay makes it sound like release engineering is akin to a continuous evolving dance. Do engineers also have specific methodologies they champion?
Yes, they follow best practices and consistent methodologies for all their processes. It's all about keeping things streamlined yet flexible enough to adapt to new challenges.
Hu Tao, I find this whole concept of release engineering fascinating. But how exactly do release engineers use data to improve their processes?
Great question. At Google, release engineers gather and analyze data to refine the release process. This includes metrics that track release velocity or how quickly code changes make it to production.
Release velocity. Is that a measure of how fast they can release new features?
Exactly, it's all about the speed and efficiency of getting changes out there safely. By examining these metrics, they can identify bottlenecks or areas that need improvement.
What kind of tools do they develop to assist with this process?
They create custom tools that help implement best practices. These tools ensure that every release follows a consistent and repeatable methodology, avoiding any accidental or unique results that could cause issues.
Consistency does sound important. Are these tools used by the release engineers alone, or do they extend to others?
Oh, they're designed for broader use. Software engineers and SREs also utilize these tools to help manage different stages of software release, like testing, deployment, and even rollbacks when necessary.
Rollbacks? Does that mean they can reverse a release if problems are detected?
Precisely. If something goes awry, having a rollback process allows them to quickly revert to a previous stable version, minimizing any potential impact on users.
The cooperation between release engineers and SREs seems crucial. How do they collaborate to manage canarying, releases, and rollbacks?
They work hand in hand, defining standards and strategies to ensure that any release is as smooth as possible. Canarying, for example, involves releasing to a small group first to catch any issues before a wider release.
That sounds smart, like testing a new recipe on a few people before a grand banquet.
Exactly. It's about catching problems early and ensuring they don't affect everyone. This method aligns perfectly with business needs, allowing for safer experimentation and quicker fixes.
And do these roles work in isolation, or is it a more integrated approach with the entire development team?
It's quite integrated. They collaborate with the entire team to streamline the process from start to finish, ensuring that no part of the release is ignored or underprepared.
So this integration ensures that the release process is never treated as just an afterthought.
Exactly. Integrating early and throughout the development cycle helps avoid those last-minute scrambles common with slapdash release processes.
Fascinating. By using these methodologies, does it allow them to manage a large volume of releases efficiently?
Yes, it certainly does. By automating many aspects of the process and using data-driven decisions, they can handle numerous releases in a controlled and efficient manner.
Does this level of automation and control require a lot of preemptive planning?
Absolutely. Planning and establishing good practices is crucial. It's about thinking ahead and setting up systems that can adapt easily as situations change.
How do they ensure these systems remain adaptable and not rigid structures that could hinder progress?
They ensure adaptability by continually updating and refining their tools and strategies based on feedback and performance metrics. Nothing is set in stone, so they keep evolving.
An ever-evolving system, conducive to growth and minimizing risks. How do they ascertain this growth doesn't become unmanageable?
By setting clear policies and procedures, they maintain order. These policies regulate everything, from code changes to deployment actions, keeping things from spiraling out of control.
Policies that don't stifle, but rather channel creativity and efficiency. Kind of like a wind guiding a kite. It provides direction and the right amount of restraint.
What a perfect analogy, These processes help everyone stay on track, much like the wind guiding without holding back.
Do these processes also help with tracking who is responsible for what in the release cycle?
Yes, they do. Role-based access controls and detailed reports are part of their processes, ensuring transparency and accountability at every stage.
It seems like a delicate balance of empowering teams while maintaining checks and controls.
Exactly, By empowering teams with the right tools and guidance while keeping everything in check, they can focus more on innovation and less on potential chaos.
With such structures in place, how do they keep everyone aligned with the same objectives without micromanaging?
That's where those best practices come in. By adhering to established methodologies and relying on thorough communication, everyone is aligned towards the same objectives.
So it's about guiding others towards an understanding, not just dictating instructions.
Exactly, leading by example and enlightening others on the path. It's about collective understanding, not just individual tasks.
Truly admirable. I imagine that the synergy between release engineers and SREs strengthens their cohesion even further.
Definitely. Their synergy is the backbone of ensuring that all releases align smoothly with both technical and business needs.
With such efficiency, does it allow for a significant reduction in the frequency of emergency interventions?
Yes, that's the aim. When everything is planned and executed seamlessly, emergencies become the exception, not the rule.
Hu Tao, you've captured my interest. What are these core principles that guide Google's release engineering?
You're gonna love this. The core principles are the foundation of everything they do, and one of the standout aspects is the self-service model.
Self-service sounds empowering, but how does it function within release engineering?
In essence, product development teams at Google are given the tools and autonomy to control and manage their own release processes. It's like giving them the keys to their own kingdom, but with a well-drawn map.
Interesting. Does this autonomy lead to faster release times?
Exactly. They achieve what's called high release velocity. Teams can push out new software versions frequently, which helps with quicker innovations and improvements.
How do they maintain consistency and reliability with so many releases?
That's where Hermetic Builds come into play. These ensure that every build is consistent and repeatable, despite being created on different machines or by different people.
Hermetic Builds? It sounds like a spell to trap variables in a controlled environment.
Haha, in a way, it is. The builds are insulated from the varying software and libraries of the machines they run on. They rely strictly on known versions of tools and dependencies.
Fascinating. Does this methodology also come with strict regulations?
Absolutely. Policy enforcement is key. They have several layers of security and access control to make sure everything runs smoothly and safely.
Like guardians at the gates, ensuring the right actions are performed. How do they manage such comprehensive policies without overwhelming the team?
Through well-defined procedures that become second nature to the team. Whether it's code changes or new releases, having a clear outline helps them focus on creativity, not constraints.
Enforcing policies also allows them to track the release process efficiently, doesn't it?
Exactly. It provides transparency and helps track who did what. It's all about accountability and clarity.
And I presume these methodologies support a continuous build and deployment model as well.
Yes, the continuous build and deployment model is integral to their process. This allows for ongoing integration and delivery seamlessly.
So instead of waiting to complete a whole project, they can make small, manageable changes.
Exactly. Each change is like a small step, making the process agile and adaptable. This way, they can respond quickly to feedback and necessary modifications.
This approach seems beneficial, but doesn't constant deployment risk introducing instability?
Great point, But with systems in place to automatically test and verify each change, risks are minimized. They ensure only the most stable changes make it through.
A delicate balance indeed. So when teams manage their releases independently, does it rely on having the right set of tools?
Absolutely. Their tools are designed to make the release process as straightforward as possible, almost like following a well-constructed blueprint.
A well-constructed blueprint? Does that mean there's guidance even within their autonomy?
Precisely. It's freedom within a framework, having the liberty to innovate while still adhering to best practices.
An impressive harmony of independence and structure. Does this model lead to increased innovation across teams?
It does. With less time battling process inefficiencies, they can pour that energy into creativity and experimenting with new ideas.
How do they ensure that all teams are aligned under such an autonomous model?
Communication is key. Regular syncs and shared best practices ensure everyone moves in the same direction, like an orchestra playing in perfect harmony.
Harmonious indeed. It must reduce redundancy across projects, allowing for more focused efforts.
Exactly, It reduces getting caught up in repetitive tasks, letting engineers concentrate on forward-thinking projects.
So, as new software engineers join, do they easily adapt to this self-service model?
Yes, with thorough documentation and an open culture of learning, newcomers are quickly brought up to speed. It's like having a personal tour guide in a vast library of knowledge.
And for the team cohesion, do these principles promote a unified culture?
Absolutely, They foster a culture where everyone is both accountable and encouraged to contribute. It's about being part of a community.
A community with shared goals and mutual understanding. So the core principles go beyond just processes to foster an enhanced human element?
Exactly. The human element is always at the forefront. By empowering individuals, they build not just better software, but a better environment to create and innovate.
A realm where each contributor is both a leader and a follower, dancing to the rhythm of technology and human synergy.
You've captured it beautifully, It's a continuous dance of technology and creativity guided by clear principles but inspired by human ingenuity.
This interplay of freedom, structure, and innovation is truly enlightening, Hu Tao. What forms the pulse of this model's success?
At its heart, it's the trust in the team's capability to manage themselves, backed by the robust framework of processes and tools, allowing for fluidity and adaptability.
A balance of faith and guidance, allowing teams to soar while staying grounded.
Absolutely, and it's this blend that makes Google's release engineering both unique and exceedingly effective.
Truly an artful orchestration. I'm eager to hear more about how these theories come into tangible play in real-world scenarios. Hu Tao, you mentioned something about the intricate practices of release engineering. Can you elaborate on how they build the actual software?
Of course, Google uses a powerful tool called Blaze for building their software. It's their go-to for compiling code in a seamless and automated way.
Blaze sounds like it must be crucial for handling complex software builds. How does it work?
Blaze helps define what's known as build targets, essentially the outputs of a build, like executable binaries. It automatically takes care of building any dependencies required for those targets.
So, does Blaze handle everything from start to finish, or is there more to it?
While Blaze sets the foundation for building, Rapid, another tool, manages the workflow. It configures project specifics, targets, and handles testing, all aligning with their build and deployment strategies.
And branching, how do they manage different versions of their code?
Great question. They check all code into the main branch, but usually release from what's called a branch. They branch from the main line at a specific revision, ensuring that only changes they want are included in the release.
I see. Does this method help them avoid unwanted code changes from other developers?
Exactly. It avoids introducing any surprises or untested changes. If they find something that needs fixing, they cherry-pick the necessary corrections into the branch.
Clever approach. Testing must be integral to this, right?
Absolutely. There's a continuous test system that runs unit tests every time a change is submitted, quickly spotting any issues that might arise.
The continuous system sounds efficient. How do they ensure all tests are passed before release?
They rerun tests on the release branch during the release process and create an audit trail showing all tests were passed successfully. This is crucial if the branch contains a unique code version.
So even minor versions are tested thoroughly within their own context.
Exactly, They want to guarantee that what's being released is stable in the exact context it will operate.
How about packaging and deployment? Do these steps have their own unique processes?
Yes, they use the Midas Package Manager or MPM for putting together and deploying their software packages. Each package is carefully named and versioned to ensure authenticity.
The deployment aspect must be challenging, especially for such large-scale operations. How is that managed?
Deployment can be handled simply with Rapid for small-scale needs, or for more complex tasks, Sisyphus steps in. It's a flexible rollout framework for managing large or intricate deployments.
Sisyphus sounds like it offers tailored deployment solutions. Does it rely on pre-existing definitions during the rollout?
Precisely. It uses what's described in the blueprint files, and adapts, based on the specific needs of a deployment, balancing efficiency with risk management.
So Google's systems are finely tuned with considerable foresight in both planning and execution.
Yes, and configuration management plays a big role in this foresight. Configurations are stored with code to ensure everything is controlled and predictable.
Is configuration management equally adaptable, given the changing needs of software projects?
Absolutely. Flexibility is built into their method by storing configurations with the source code and adhering to strict code reviews, ensuring both control and adaptability.
And this meticulous approach helps preempt situations before they become problematic.
That's the idea. By integrating release engineering from a project's start, they ensure stability early, saving time and effort in the longer run.
I can see how these practices can be beneficial beyond just Google.
Indeed, Google advocates for these practices to be embraced more widely. Defining processes early makes software development smoother for everyone.
Involving release engineering from the start aligns everyone and everything towards a unified goal.
Exactly. It's about creating a harmonious balance between technical needs and innovative aspirations, right from the get-go.
I find this integration of process and creativity insightful, Hu Tao. Thank you for enlightening me.
My pleasure, It's always delightful to share these fascinating facets of tech that weave into our everyday lives.